So back gabbing with Mike Chance of Velux Skylights, and okay, Mike, I started out the last segment talking about how we all three knew each other through the Home Builders Association here in St. Louis and working on the Green Building Council, now called the Advanced Building Science and Technology Committee?
Yes.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So, ABSTAT.
ABSTAT.
There you go. So, tell us how you got into Velux. You've been with them for a while and you've built some wonderful things. So,
well, I started with Velux 20 years ago. I used to work for a building material supplier, and through selling building materials, I sold Velux, and I liked the product so much that I decided to get into the rep part of the business, and the rest is history. So 20 years later, here I am.
And what's your role now?
My role? That's a good question.
Do you not even know your role? Yeah.
Oh, I know my role. My role is really to, through the use of daylight from above, I want to have more people experience the benefits of daylight and ventilation in their homes. That's my whole thing.
And what are those benefits?
The benefits are better living, better daylight, which means better health, environment. It's really about the feeling people get when they're in an environment that's well lit.
I love it.
The experience of the house.
So we're all in agreement on this whole better thing.
Yes.
You know what the title of my book is, right?
What's that?
Living Green Effortlessly. Simple choices to a better home.
I like that. I like that.
You should
Better
be plugging
home.
the book.
I should be plugging the book.
Every time
Yeah.
you do one, you should talk about it.
I know. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for being my biggest fan.
Who says I'm a fan?
I don't know. You don't even have a copy of the book yet.
No, you gave me one. You gave me one and you didn't even sign it.
Well, you didn't ask me to.
I shouldn't have to ask you to sign it. You're my friend.
Bring it tomorrow. I'll sign it for you.
So
Why
yeah,
am I bad?
Tony, I'm sure remembers the old days. We had the Healthy House.
Oh, yeah.
And
Way
so
back
out of
with Gene
the
Ruther.
Healthy
Ruther
House
Healthy
is kind of
House.
where I got the start with the green, and then it became the Green Building Council, and then where we are today, which I still can't say the name, so you guys help me out.
That's why it's abstract.
I just think Aflac, and I'll
I
just
know. Quack, quack.
No
yeah.
doubt.
So
Too late.
that's a progression. So I've been a long time fan of the Home Builders Association because I really believe that they show that working together as a group versus just individually trying to go out on their own, we can really share concepts and ideas, and we can really move the whole. People at the end of the day really want to build a better home.
So, gee whiz, I think you might be a fan of the Home Builders Association.
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah.
This is not a bad
I've been
thing.
No.
I think three of us are in complete agreement here.
But I truly believe that. I think that together we're trying to find a way to build a better home and to make it more. A lot of times people are focused so much on the energy equation. They're focused on how the house looks, but they're not really thinking about the healthy benefits.
Absolutely.
And so that's where all of us together, all of our different things in life that we try to pull together and find ways that really the end consumer that's in the house, they can really enjoy their house without their house really. It's almost like the house should give to you versus you giving to your house.
I call that the promise of your home.
There you go.
You said one thing, that people spend a lot of time thinking about what it looks like and not really thinking about the healthy aspects of it. I think a lot of that is because they just assume, since it's a new home, well, it's got to be healthy.
Right.
Well, it's that whole performance aspect.
Right.
So, we want a home that looks good, but we kind of forget that it needs to perform well. And when you really think about it, when you get that home, no matter what kind of home you're getting, you will spend time, money, energy, I call it hassle factor, taking care of that home. And how much you choose to take care of that home goes into, what goes into that equation is how well it was built so that it can perform for you. And it's no different than how we take care of our bodies, right?
Oh,
If you maintain things well, they last longer, they work better. Well, duh, that's true with anything, right?
Let's face it, installation, doing good installation versus I really like that new furniture set. Which one's more sexier,
Yeah, that's,
Right?
yeah.
So that's our challenge is,
It is.
our money, we only have so many dollars to spend per year, so we have to budget these things. But, I think of a house as you have to really have a good core, really, for the rest of it to work well. So the house, again, in my opinion, should be working for you, not the other way around. You working for your house.
You think of how many hours and hours and hours people spend on their yards, on their homes, and we still don't do most of the really critical things well that we should. We wait, and I say we, I'm generalizing, folks, but I'm guilty. I've done it too, so shame on me and no shame, so never mind, strike that comment, because I don't believe in shame. I want to help people find things they can do and celebrate what we can do.
Right.
However, I'm learning with each additional home that it gets added into my life, I'm learning from what I've done before, and I'm learning that the more I can invest in things, wise choices up front, things that are going to last me longer and have less maintenance, less care, less worry, those things work better for my lifestyle. And those things work better because I don't want to spend all my time on my house. And I find that with so many people right now. And what I love about that is how it ties back to what you guys are doing with Velux is, hey, let us bring a building component to your home that is going to add something beautiful, something psychologically advantageous, because daylighting is really good for our psyche. It makes us happy.
Well, not only
And
that,
I want to be happy.
Yeah, and visual acuity, I can speak to that personally. As we get older, we need more light to see the same thing. So that's another reason where using skylights or daylight from above will definitely give you better lighting and quality light. At the end of the day, you can use the daylight bulbs that are out there now, but they never can mimic what daylight truly can do.
So that's a point I don't think a lot of people understand, is that using daylighting or natural lighting, windows and skylights, isn't just about replacing electric lights. It's also about getting a better quality of light.
That's it.
And I don't think a lot of us really get that.
Well, and daylight is full spectrum. So in other words, for color,
Right.
color rendering is better. I've had people that have put a skylight in after they've not had skylights at all and say, wow, I didn't know that wall was orange. So
I like my sofa that's green and brown.
so the daylight can truly show true colors,
Yeah.
but it's really helpful as we age, especially aging in place, or if you want to call it, what's the other term? Aging in place.
Universal design?
Universal design, where we have to consider not only where we are today in our age, but what about 20 years from now?
Well, and how many people, we've had a family member have a stroke and vision changes. My husband has a benign brain tumor. His vision has changed with that. So we're relatively young folks. Okay, we're old enough, but we're still, we've got a long life ahead of us, even though we're middle-aged.
Right.
But it has changed, and I've gotten to the point where I have to walk out into daylight or go over to the window to read things sometimes, just because the electric lighting just isn't good enough.
And this is why in really high-performance homes that are more technologically advanced, you hear terms like daylight harvesting.
Right, which is kind of technical sounding, so explain that.
Well, basically what you're trying to do is you're capturing as much of the outside light as possible. And when you're dealing with a super technologically advanced house, that means you have sensors that are reading the amount of daylight in the room versus the amount of daylight outside, and are automatically adjusting blinds and shades to open or close to match that programmed percentage. So that is, if I have more light, natural light outside than is coming inside, I automatically adjust the window treatments so I reach equilibrium, daylight harvesting. Now I have more natural light in the house. I can see things in a better, more even way.
And of course, you guys can do it so we don't have to think about it.
Right.
And here's a statistic you both probably know. In St. Louis, isn't it funny that in St. Louis in the summer, people fight to get those patio seats? Why do they do that?
Yeah.
Because of all the natural light. They don't want to be stuck inside the building. They want to be out as soon as we get a nice warm day here in St. Louis, everybody's out on any kind of patio, whether it's a Mexican place or other place. They're looking for that outdoor place environment. People want the outside indoors.
Yep.
And that's what we bring.
And then the 98 degrees and 80% humidity hits, and then they're back inside to the air conditioning.
That's it.
That's where we need skylights.
But that has nothing to do with natural light.
That's right. 4 seasons in a day. I love it. I love that.
St. Louis.
Yes. Absolutely. So that's really there are more benefits to just really bringing in the daylight. It's about the healthy indoor air quality. It's about the quality of light you're bringing in. Again, a cylindrical luminance. There will be a test on this later on.
So we're going to have to make sure we put cylindrical luminous in the podcast notes.
Yes.
And if there's, a website we should go to explain that, we'll have to attach that too.
Make sure you spell it right.
Yes.
Yes, that would be helpful. So you'll have to coach me on that.
But it makes sense. Light coming from above versus on the wall. It spreads more evenly. That's why recessed lights are used quite a bit. And it's just a matter of, the energy benefits alone. When you can walk into a house, and I've got an old friend that years ago said that the way he did a daylight study analysis of the home is he would go into a home and turn all the lights out. And he would find the dark spots, and there is where he would solve those problems by our product, whether it be a skylight or one of the Velux sun tunnels, which is a tubular daylighting device is what they call it. So it's that's a big word.
A lot of words.
Reflected daylight. So what it does is it harvests the light from the roof. It's going through it's a silver bonded to aluminum. Our tube is a silver bonded to aluminum, and that light goes deep into the core. You can actually go up to 20-foot runs with this tubing.
Because it reflects, right?
Because it reflects it's like a high shine mirror. But so the idea is that no matter if it's a hallway, closet, bathroom, those areas where there's no window, that's a perfect spot for what we call the Velux sun tunnel, the tubular daylighting devices.
That's what I want. Yeah,
Exactly.
I want one in my closet.
Exactly. So making your choice is all about, you have to ask yourself the basic questions. Do I want to see the view to the outside sky? Or am I more interested in just the daylight harvesting?
Right.
And then what has to make sense is picking the device that looks right for the room. I've seen where if you have a tubular light on the ceiling and it's a vaulted ceiling, a skylight looks so much better because of the view and the look, and you can see the stars at night. You can dream. I hear people all the time say, I get moonlight at nighttime coming through the skylight.
I need one right above my bed.
There you go.
Lay in bed and look at the stars.
And the other question that I'm sure people are thinking out there right now is, what about the times you don't want the sun or the moonlight? Well, we have solar-powered, remote-controlled blinds that are remotely available to control that light coming in. So you don't always have to have the light in the bedroom. Let's face it, first thing in the morning, if you're not an early riser, then
Yeah.
you can program the blind to actually shut right before 6 in the morning, whatever, and then that way you're not waking up the sun. But it's proven in studies that waking up to sunlight is the best way to reset your body clock. That's another benefit.
Is that our circadian rhythms?
Yes.
Yeah, I wake up with the sun generally. And it's funny because in Oklahoma City, we're on the west side of the time zone compared to St. Louis. So it's about a half-hour shift in sunrise and sunset. So I wake up later in Oklahoma City because sunrise is half an hour later.
Sure.
And I can't afford to wake up later, but I don't naturally wake up. I have to get my alarm clock. So just don't think about these things until they happen, and you're, oh yeah, that's circadian rhythm stuff. So anyway,
So really, it becomes, like you said, we're just a component of the entire house.
I get it.
We're an improvement where somebody may think of it as an accessory, or maybe it's a premium option in the home. Realistically, it should be a standard in the home, because if you think about it, if we can choose a hole in the roof or the ceiling or the wall, the skylight producing double the amount of light of a window and wall, wouldn't you choose the skylight over the window and wall? Now, I'm not saying get rid of windows on the wall.
Right.
I'm saying get it a nice balance. So we call it the square foot floor to glass ratio. So if you have a lot of windows, maybe your square foot floor glass ratio is 30% of the house. That's a lot of glass.
Yeah.
Glass equals heat, right?
Right.
So if we can
Or
reduce
lots of heat.
yeah. So if you can reduce the number of windows in the wall and add just a few skylights, now you're balancing light into the room and you're making the house more energy efficient at the same time.
So more light, less glass.
That's it.
And Mike, you and I have talked about this in length, multiple occasions, that we understand where houses are going technologically speaking. And while right now that, skylight is really more of an option, we can both see in 3 to 5 years, as houses get smarter and smarter and everything in those houses are automated, where skylights are just a natural feature, and they're an expected standard feature because they're tied into the rest of the house.
Yeah.
So nowadays, people aren't even thinking about skylights opening and closing, blinds or shades dropping on the light. It's automatically done as sensor reads point A, automatically the skylight will open or the skylight will close to either get in fresh air, or it's raining outside so I don't want moisture to come in the house, or oh my gosh, hey, the front porch light just went off because it's about 30 minutes to sunrise, so now the shade closes on the skylight so I don't have so much light coming in. So as these houses get smarter and smarter, this is what we're going to see.
That's right. And I think the thing, we talked about earlier getting in the time machine, but did we get back to present? I don't think we did.
I think we're going to take a quick break though.
All right.
And let's take a deep breath, and then we'll be right back because we're going to talk about that time machine some more.